Love makes me treat you the way that I do. Gee, baby, ain't I good to you? There's nothing too good for a girl that's so true. Gee, baby, ain't I good to you? I bought you a fur coat for Christmas, a diamond ring.
Hi folks, Dr. H here, and I'm here with you now to give us an opportunity to sort of walk through our class from the viewpoint of what to expect. In a face-to-face situation, we often have the opportunity of meeting the instructor and sort of walking through the syllabus, things like that. Unfortunately, with the online, that's one of the drawbacks. We don't get to meet face-to-face and do this. So I produce these little videos from time to time for this type of help. So what can you expect from this first month of class? Well, let's just be honest with each other. I said in my introductory video to all of my music students, taking an online course, while it might seem easy, it certainly is convenient, especially now during the pandemic. It can also be, very, very challenging, especially if you've never taken one before. So my advice is to please take a look at the syllabus, take a look at the course calendar, and to find out when things are due. You do have certainly a great deal of free time with respect to the course, and that's one of the reasons why I do the course the way that I do. As I mentioned in the introductory video, I don't do the synchronous classes where we meet at a regular time each week. I do the asynchronous so that each student can work at their own pace within a specific time frame. So hopefully that makes sense to you, and hopefully that is helpful to you. But let's talk about some things. First of all, one of those things being the course syllabus and the online text. So I mentioned, again, in that introductory video, there are two sides to this story. You have e-learning, which is where you will access certain parts of the course, and then you have an online text, which is where you will access other aspects of this course. So let's talk about e-learning for a second. What is on e-learning for you? Well, number one, the syllabus is on e-learning, so you can always refer to that, what's expected of you, the required materials for the course, things like that. In addition to the syllabus, there are other useful things. I always make announcements using the e-learning. I always post announcements whenever there's a change or whenever there's an update, so you can always look and find those types of things. Also, I will do most of my communication through email with you using e-learning. And then there are other aspects such as the course content and the discussion topics. All of those things are found on e-learning, and the only portion of that which is an actual assignment is the discussion topics. Okay, so just so you understand, the discussion topics are the only thing on there that you are required to participate in. However, everything else is informative, so you should go through it. So we're going to take a look at e-learning in just a moment, and we're going to look at what you can find there and the accessibility of it and so forth. So just continue watching this, but wanted to give you a little bit of a heads up. It's that duality is that you have e-learning and you have your online text. And the online text is where the actual assignments are, where the quizzes are, where the exams are. E-learning is where the schedules are and communications and so forth, as well as the syllabus and other course documents. So I wanted to make that distinction up front before we go any further. Again, on e-learning, you have a course calendar. Actually, you have more than one, But if you look on e-learning, especially when you look at the homepage of our e-learning site, you can see in the lower right-hand corner there is a course calendar that shows you when things are due. And then if you go to the contents page, you can see, and under each module, you can see, I think it's on top of each module, you can see the date range. So when an assignment opens and when an assignment closes. And the closing date is the same as the due date. So hopefully that makes sense to you. The different modules are representations of what you have on your online text. So when you see, for example, the first module being Introduction to the Keyboard, that is your first section in your online text that you're going to be expected to complete. So, and then it shows you the date ranges for that particular section. Okay, hopefully that is clear for everyone. If you're still confused, please shoot me an email and I will try to explain it to you a little bit further. Now, grading, as I said in, again, that introductory vid, you need to understand that you don't have to do the assignments 100% correctly in order to make an A. You just have to do them. You don't have to do the assignments correctly to get credit. You just have to do them. So that means everything. That means worksheets. That means quizzes. That means everything. You do everything. There is no superfluous assignment content, particularly in music elements. All the worksheets, the practice worksheets, everything counts. So yes, I do expect you to do it all, and I will know if you're doing it. If I look at your specific grade sheet or activity sheet, which I'm sent all the time, by the way, I will notice whether or not you are logging on, whether or not you're doing things. So yes, do everything. I realize it's tedious, but it is important that you complete all the assignments. Are the discussion topics required? Yes, they are. So the discussion topics on e-learning and all of the assignments on your online text are all required. You must complete them all in order to receive a grade. Do you have to do them exactly 100% correct? No. I don't look at exactness. I don't look at perfect spelling or perfect answers or things like that. As long as you are making an attempt, that's all I require. That is your participation. That is, by the way, your attendance in this class. Obviously, being an online class, unless we were to meet on a regular day, every single week, which I do not want to do with this, that would be the only way to take attendance, as it were. I don't take attendance. I look at your assignments. I look at when you log on. I count those things as your attendance in this class. Okay, so let's focus a little bit more on some things like the discussion topics. What are you supposed to do? By now, just about everyone has already participated in the introductions of the discussion topics. I've enjoyed reading those, so thank you. It's great to be able to interact with each other. What you're supposed to do is post a topic. You have to subscribe to the discussion topic before you can post. And then you are asked to post a short response to 2 of your classmates. So, or you could post a response to me if you want to my posting. And that doesn't have to be lengthy. All that has to be is, hey, it's nice to meet you. You might point out something that's interesting that they wrote. Doesn't matter. But just those 2 short responses is showing me and the rest of the class that you are participating. You're getting into the discussion topic. There will be other discussion topics. These discussion topics enable us to kind of step outside of our text and discuss things musically that, we might utilize some of the things that we're learning in our text, but more importantly, how music is put together and how music affects us, how music works. So I encourage you to take part in these. They are required, and yes, it does count towards your grade. As far as how many discussion topics there will be, That's a surprise, isn't it? You don't know. So you just have to keep checking. Whenever a new discussion topic comes up, you will receive an email and there will be an announcement posted on our e-learning site. Okay, so let's jump from e-learning now to our online text. By now, most of you have purchased your online textbook access code. So let's talk about that a little bit. You're not purchasing a physical book, right? It's not a paper book with pages. It is an online text. The only way to access that online text is to purchase the access code. So you purchase the access code, and there are instructions on that access code on how to register it so that you can access your online textbook. So we're going to take a look at both e-learning and our online text now so that we can get an idea of how these things operate, how we can use them, and some of the tools that are present in each of these. And I hope they will all be helpful to you. Okay, so also in addition to exploring those two things, the online text and e-learning, I have included a short video that's not part of this video, but another instructional video for our first section. So you need to watch for that in the links when it comes up to understanding the keyboard. Take a look at that, and that sort of is a precursor to the online text section on Introduction to the Keyboard. And there will be one for each of these sections, not for each lesson, but for each of the sections. So hopefully these will be things that can help you. And I should mention to you at this point, music is not an exact science. There are different ways of looking at music. You are learning essentially the mechanics of music, how music is put together. Everything from notes to note values to pitch, rhythms, things like that. So these are all elements or fundamentals of music. And it's a lot of fun. You just have to kind of get into it. Some of it can be a little bit tedious if you don't really throw yourself into it. As always, if you have questions about any of the material, please do not hesitate to contact me through email. Right now, because of the pandemic, and I'm sure you've received emails to this effect, Delta is closed for the first 3 weeks of the semester. Once that 3 weeks is over, there will be opportunities for face-to-face meetings if that is necessary, but they are under, I think, a lot of restrictions. So if that becomes necessary, we'll work that out. In the meantime, hopefully we can do everything through email. Okay, so let's take a look at e-learning and what's available there, and let's take a look at what we can expect from our online text. Thanks, folks. So greetings, everyone. Dr. H here again, and this is just a continuation of the video that we've been watching regarding our course and the first month of our course and what to expect. So let's take a look at the e-learning side of our course. We're going to take a look at what happens when we log on. Now, this is my homepage for e-learning. Yours is probably going to look a little bit different, but you can see here that all of your classes will be listed on that first page once you've logged in. So we're just going to log into Music Elements, and when that page comes up, you can see we have our announcements page and so forth. And in the announcements, of course, the further back you go in history, the older the announcements get. But I wanted to point out a couple of things on this homepage, and that is that we have, in addition to the announcements, if you scroll down on the lower right-hand side, you can see we have the course calendar. And one thing about this calendar that you should note is these are showing when the assignments are due. Please understand that there is a range of dates. There's an opening date, and then there's a closing date or a due date. So the reason I bring that up is you shouldn't wait until the last minute. For example, one of the first things that's coming due is January 30th, is section 1 regarding the keyboard. Don't wait until 11 p.m. on January 29th to try to get this done. Give yourself the time. You do have quite a bit of time still, a couple of weeks in fact, before you have to get this done. So I might also note to you now that Section 2, the staff, is also due on January 30th. So you have 2 sections that come due on January 30th. Okay, so what we're going to do though is just take a look at the contents page. So if you go up here and click on content, you can see here that we have the course syllabus available to us. When we have a link to our online text, we'll talk about that more in a moment. But you can see here that everything that we have talked about to this point, you can find on our online text, on e-learning and under the contents tab. Also, you might want to make note of the modules here, section 1, section 2, and so forth. Note the date ranges. January 11th through January 30th is for section 1. Now, when you click on this, the only thing that comes up is the description of the course and then any materials that might be associated with it. So for example, this has a video associated with it, and if you were to click on section 1, the keyboard, it says to watch this, then another window is going to come up, and you guessed it, it's going to be a window involving yours truly, Dr. H. So just understand that each of these modules contains some info regarding our online text, but it's not the actual online text. It is not the actual assignment. Okay, and this is true for every single section. Okay, brief description of what you're going to be looking at, and there's usually some type of video that is accompanied with it. Sometimes there is no video, and we'll get into the why of that in just a moment. Okay, so again, if you scroll down, you can see all of these modules that are related to our text. There are 7 sections to our text, each of them having assignments. Now, in addition to the online text assignments, the readings, the workbooks, the practice worksheets, the quizzes, the exams, so in addition to all of that that's on your online text, you also have the discussion topics. So if you go under, you find those under activities. You go under activities and you can see discussions. You click on that, and then you're brought up to our handy dandy discussion pages. You'll see here there are some introductions already. I believe you can each view these introductions. It comes up to be like this. Remember that you can't post anything without subscribing to the topic first. So I urge you to take part in this, because yes, this is how we learn about what you're doing in our class and your participation efforts. So far there's just this one discussion topic, introductions. You can click on the topic and it's going to bring you to the same conclusion. If you look back, you can see this little number here. This shows you the number of threads and the number of posts. Every time a person starts a new thread, that's counted, and then if you answer a thread, that's counted as a post. So you can see when you click on the 32 or you click on introductions, you can see that there are all types of posts, and then the ones that are sort of subheaded into that, those are the responses to the initial posts. So just so you understand, that's what's going on with our e-learning site. When you first log on to e-learning, again, this is what you see. You click on to our class and you'll come up to that home page. So hopefully that that helps you out. Now again, once you are in to to the home page of our e-learning site, then you have these links under the contents. you have a link to our online text. Now, if you click on that, that's going to bring you up to On Music Fundamentals. Okay, if you click on that, that's the login page for your online text. And so we're going to talk about that in a moment, but just understand that just by clicking on that link or any of the links associated with your online text does not automatically bring you into it. You still have to log in to that online text. So hopefully that's clear for enough for everyone. If you are still having trouble understanding, please shoot me an email and I will try and explain it to you further. Okay, so without further ado, let's take a look at our online text. So when you do click on one of those links, or if you simply click on a link or type in the address c4elink.org, I would bookmark this if I were you, just so you have quick access to it. You come to the C4eLink login page where you're asked to put in your username, obviously, and your password. So we'll go ahead and set this up for a second so that we can just take a look at what we're going to be seeing. Now, if you had multiple books that you, or multiple online texts that you were using, you would come up with something like this. But chances are you are only registered for one online text, and that would be MUS 100 WN 801. So we're going to click on that. And it does take a minute. I don't know why their servers run as slow as they do, but it does take a little bit for it to come up. So just be patient, it will come. Okay, so finally we get that page in front of us. And so let's talk a little bit about the layout of our online text. You can see here at the top, you have my courses, my grades, so forth. Really the only thing up here that you're going to need is the My Courses. You can view your grade, but remember, your online text grade is not your overall grade. It's not your final grade. Remember that I factor in participation. So I'm going to be looking at your discussions. I'm going to be looking at how often you log on, how you are progressing with the various assignments. So this does not tell the entire story. But I encourage you to explore each of these tabs just to find out what they are. The discussions here, I should make mention, are not the same as our discussions on e-learning, so you're not going to need that one. Just really this first couple will be, and you could look at the My Coursework too, inspecting assignments and so forth if you want to. That's sort of an optional thing. Okay, so let's take a look. The first section, the keyboard, if you click on that, it brings up the section overview, the outline and objective. So if you click on these things, I'm just going to point out to you a couple of things. There's some tools, namely videos. Usually there's a video that introduces each class or each section, so I would encourage you to take a look at those. Now, are the videos required? Yeah, they are, but you know, they're very brief. They're not lengthy videos at all. They're very short, really more descriptive things than they are anything else. So I encourage you to take a look at the videos just to see what things are about. So when we get back to the main page here, outlines and objectives, obviously that's something that you might want to take a look at, showing you everything that is going on. Now notice that this is just showing you what is available, the learning objectives here. This is reading essentially, so just reading for a textbook. But take a look up here. You have keywords. You don't need to worry about the collaborative. You can take a look at it if you want to. The Discover video, that's exactly what was just shown you. And then the download center, well, you can play around with that if you want, but it's not really essential. Essentially, everything you need is on your online text. So if here's a way to navigate. You might notice there's a little arrow here to the right. There's also one to the left. These give you the ability to navigate from page to page on your online text. So, whoa, you have something new here. I just advanced to the next page. I wanted to point something out to you. You have something here known as a virtual keyboard. You will also notice that when I hover over these keys, that little window displays specific pitches. You can even play them. So if you want to sit here and just play this around for days, you are welcome to do that. It's kind of fun. But essentially what you are being told here is, or being shown here, is that the keyboard is a frame of reference. Now, we're not expecting you to learn how to play the piano, okay? So if you already play, fantastic. This'll all be old hat to you. But essentially what we're doing is saying, okay, you need some type of frame of reference to the piano with respect to pitches and where pitches are, and high pitches and low pitches, and something called half steps and whole steps. So do take advantage of it. And I should mention that you have this keyboard available to you on your online text at all times. If you look down in the lower right hand corner, you can see the word keyboard. You click on that and look, there it is again, all ready for you. So I know some students just, that's all they like to do, just sit there and scroll through that keyboard. And if that's you, more power to you. Also note, you can also turn it off. Okay, so anyway, as you scroll through or page through these various aspects, you'll notice some other tools that you're being asked to listen to. For example, the definition of pitch, and then they're going to give you some ideas of what pitches are. So they're asking here, pitch 1 is lower than pitch 2, and or not asking, but they're stating that, and in fact, yes, it is. Pitch 1 and 2 are the same. Pitch 1 is higher than pitch 2. So these are just simply tools that they give you, and you can listen to these as many times as you like. Anytime you see a word in blue, that means that there's something associated with it, some kind of tool. That's just giving you the pronunciation of the word pitch, just in case you didn't understand. And hey, it happens. But anytime you see anything like that, there's a link associated with it at some point. You also have other tools related to the systems of pitch identification, other things that you can listen to. Anytime you see a little speaker icon, you can make use of that. Whenever a keyboard pops up, you can play it. And you might notice here that it is asking you to play a set of pitches. You could also come down here and play those. So it's asking you, it's telling you the first 7 letters of the alphabet A to G are used to identify the white keys on the keyboard. On a full-sized 88-note keyboard, the first key on the left corresponds to the letter A, and so they're talking about this one right here. Very low. And you also might make note of the patterns on a keyboard. There are black keys and white keys, and the black keys are grouped in 2s and 3s. That is significant. So I encourage you just to walk through this and to explore all of this. And then in addition to the speaker icons that you saw on the previous page, you also will have these little things called Show Me. And what this is doing is it's actually demonstrating for you what keys are they're talking about, what notes they're talking about. And it looks like some pitches may be out of order right now. If that does happen, do contact me and let me know that you're having some issues with pitches. But I've found that in some cases it's just simply a matter of refreshing your page. Sometimes that works. We'll give it a try here and see if it does in fact work. And if not, I guess I'll be contacting Connect for Education, because that didn't work. Okay, but those are tools that are available to you. Again, I would say take a look at these little Show Me tools, and they do give you an indication. And note that it allows you to say, Show Me again. I'm not really sure why that's not coming up, but we will deal with that as a separate issue. Okay, so there essentially, folks, is your online text. And at any point, you can go to something called your dashboard, and that will bring you back to the initial opening page. You just simply click back on the course that or the textbook that you're looking at. I know some of you are taking more than one course and using more than one online text. And again, I apologize for the delay and how long it takes for these things to come up. But be patient, because they will eventually come up. I also wanted to point out a couple of things. Note there are, again, 7 sections. And each section has classes. These classes relate to specific things. So class 1 is the keyboard, class 2, note name recognition, class 3, accidentals on the octave, section 2, the staff, and there's only 2 classes in section 2, and that would be note placement and clefs, and there's section 3, and so on. So you have quite a bit of time according to the course calendar. So do take some time to just explore the various aspects of the textbook. Don't just dive in and expect it to work out for you. If it does, great. But also, again, if you do run into any trouble, please email me, and we'll try to take care of it as quickly as possible. Okay, folks, I'm again enjoying reading your responses to the introductions. I look forward to your participation in the next discussion topic. So until then, I wish you well and stay safe, and it's great to get to work with you. Take care.
I'm a sentimental sap, that's all. What's the use of trying not to fall? I have no will, you've made your kill, 'cause you took advantage of me. I'm just like an apple